So at this point, we have talked about how to set this machine up. We've talked about how to be safe on this machine. Let's take a look at actually making some cuts. Quickly going through the setup again, the first thing I need to do is get my blade loaded into position. So I'm going to reach down and hook the blade in the lower jaws. I'm going to replace my guard, my table insert. I'm going to feed the blade up through this hole on my workpiece. And you can see the blade is really flexible, so it's okay to push it out of the way to get it loaded up in here. And if you can see there, I released the upward tension and the blade popped free. So I need to start over. Teeth pointed down, attached in the lower jaw. Table insert. Fishing it up through my workpiece, maintaining upward pressure, sliding the blade back through the guard, pressing down the upper arm, and hooking the blade. Next, I'm going to lower the foot and tighten it into place. Lastly, I'm going to adjust my tension knob. Right now, tension is not engaged. I can flip the lever down, and now tension is engaged. So I'm ready to go ahead and make my cut now. I've got my power switch right down here, so I can flip that on. And now I can adjust my speed by turning the knob, and you can see that the saw is running much faster now than it was. You are welcome to run this saw at whatever speed is comfortable for you. Some things to keep in mind: the faster the blade is running, the cleaner your cut will be, but also the quicker you will get off of your cut line. So from here you can clearly see that the teeth on the blade are pointed down towards the table. So I'm going to turn on my saw and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of cuts. The first cut I'm going to do will just be a curved cut, and then I'm going to show you how to back up out of your cut. The second cut will be a complete cut, and we'll talk about removing scraps from the table. So when I turn the saw on, I'm going to make sure that my hand is out of the direct cut path of the blade, which is right here. I've got my hand off to the side. And I'm going to just start cutting into this piece. Make a fun little curve cut. And it's important to not force the blade. The blade can only cut and turn so much. If you see right there, I've got the blade twisted and it's starting to smoke. If that happens, what I need to do is I need to straighten the blade back out, and now it can resume cutting. At this point, I want to back out of my cut. It's much easier to back up the scroll saw when the saw is running. And so I'm going to just continue to rotate my piece, keeping the blade in line with the cuts that I've already made until I get back to my original starting point. And I can stop there. So here you can see the end of my cut. You can also see the spot right here where I burned my workpiece. If this were your project, there's going to be a lot of cleanup work to do at that point to get rid of those burn marks. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make another cut and meet at this corner right here. And the reason we cut that way is this. Many of your designs that you will want to cut out on this machine will have sharp corners. And as I demonstrated, I can't turn this blade too much or it will start to burn my workpiece. So if I've got a piece with a sharp corner, what I have to do is I have to cut in from one side and stop. Then I have to cut in from the other side, and that will allow me to create a sharp point at that intersection. So I'm going to cut out and around and cut in from this side to make a nice sharp corner right there, and then we're going to remove this scrap. So I'm going to bring my cut down, keeping my hands to the side or even a little bit behind the blade so that I can't possibly slip into the cutting edge of the blade. Now I'm going to slowly work forward until my blade meets right at the end of my other cut line. Periodically, I will blow away the sawdust to make sure my workspace is clean. Now that I've completed that cut, I could back out of it, but I need to remove this scrap. So to do that, I'm going to stop the blade. I'm going to raise the guard up out of the way. And now I can lift my workpiece up and I can push that scrap out the bottom. And I can reach underneath and remove this. Now this scrap needs to go in the trash and not just get thrown on the floor. At this point, I would continue working from my center hole out until I have my whole design cut out. And when I'm finished, I can go ahead and remove the blade and remove my workpiece. So again, to remove my workpiece from the machine, I'm going to release tension. I'm going to grab onto the blade with one hand, press down on the upper arm with the other to release the top part of the blade. And then I'm going to just push down under the table to release the bottom end, and I'm going to store the blade in the blade holder. I can remove my workpiece, and I can grab the air hose to clean the machine. And once the machine is clean, I can go ahead and move on.